podcast where we explore the real science of manifestation. We'll take you from mind mastery to self mastery. We'll share the yogic wisdom and its relation to neuroscience. We'll also explore quantum science and its relation to meditation. It's going to be an exciting journey. So if you feel stuck or overwhelmed, this is the right place to be. Get ready to go from the internet to the conscious net, because I believe this is going to be a mind-bending journey and give you the possibility to unlock your full potential. Welcome again.
What is different about your shift in particular, moving into the conscious net, than the other shift that other people are now talking about?
I think we are going to share this coining of the new word, consciousness.
Yeah.
I think we are the first one to talk about this.
Yes.
It just came to me today morning, and I thought, okay, I'm going to share this with Kelly. So if you approve of it, okay, we're going to go with it. Conscious net is what we're
I
going to
must have been reading your mind, because I was actually thinking about that this morning.
Yeah. So
about how that's where we're moving.
Yeah. So you see, the mind. I mean, we are in alignment, and it's Bob Proctor talks about it. It's about the frequency, and getting raising your frequency so you are on that level of understanding. So now we come up with ideas together, and it resonates with us because we are on the same page. We are talking about the same thing, using the body and mind as an instrument. So the process, the biggest thing that I want to do is I want to talk about getting away from the mind mastery into the self mastery. So first of all, to understand that self mastery, you have to know that when we are talking about the self, it's not the body and mind. The body and mind is not the self. Your soul or your spirit or whatever, the higher self, whatever name you want to use it, it's a part of the universe. You are a part of the God, right? So you are a drop of the ocean. So you have the same qualities. You can be, do, or have anything. But we have been conditioned to believe that we must be, do, or have. And that is what our existence is all about. But our existence is limited to that be, do, and have. So when we are talking about be, do, and have, that is related to the body and mind. That is your material instinct. That is what your desires are. But the reasons you struggle, because you need to move to the self, the soul. The need of the soul is different. What the soul wants it to connect with the higher, connect with God, or the separation that you feel is not from the things. You are not running after things. You think you are running after things, but in fact you are running after to connect with your higher self.
Agreed.
Right? So you are, whether you call the God or we call the higher self or whatever, you want to connect. Your soul wants to connect with the super soul.
Yep.
So in the Hindu theosophy, we call the Atma. Atma is the soul. So Atma is your individual soul, and Param Atma is the God soul. It's the super soul. So the soul is always running. So the need of the soul is first to survive. It needs to make the body and mind survive. So that's the survival. So body and mind always has to survive. That's the instinct. This is the instinct of a human being or any form of life. The first, survival instinct, right? What we call the fight and flight. The second one is it wants to find truth.
Yes.
It wants to find who am I? The four questions. Who am I? Where do I come from? What do I do? Where do I go?
Yeah.
And I want to add the fifth question. How do I do? How, right? So how is the fifth question. So who am I? Where do I come from? Where do I go? And what do I do? And how?
How? So
So
what is the how?
the how is where we are going to be talking about the 7 A's that I talk about the 7 A's. That's a process,
Seven. So the 7 A's are the how.
right? In the 7 A's, what I talk about is number one is the awareness. So you have to become aware of you have to become conscious of who you are and what are your powers. Number one, right?
Right.
You have to, then you have to accept who you are. So if we keep on using the term, we are spiritual beings and we are having a human experience.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe up to a certain, this is just the words, or maybe for some evolved souls they have an understanding at an intellectual level, but beyond that intellectual level of living that life of, yes, I am a soul, so that's the part that we have to talk about. It's like you have to accept that. So once you accept that, then you have to allow the higher self or the universe to start working with you, because you have to stop the resistance. You have to get out of your own way, because most of the time we come in our own way.
That's exactly it. Um, when you say you have to get out of the resistance,
Yeah.
it's like that's really what's holding anyone back is the resistance.
Most of us go through that resistance.
Yes, there's resistance in all of us, and it comes up when we least expect it, and we really don't know what to do with it because again, it takes us back into the mind, back to thought, to thought, to thought, to thought, keeping us in resistance
Yeah,
and not allowing us to move into the awareness
right, right.
and all of those 7 A's.
Yeah, so that was the third one. Then it all about the aspiration. What we need to know what we are here for. What is our purpose? What do we aspire to do? And that has to be your divine purpose, basically. So that's the once you know clearly what you want, then you have to align with it. The alignment, that's the energy work that you have to learn how to get past, raise your frequency and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that part of it, and then you have to behave as if, what we say is, you be appreciative, right? To show gratitude as
Yeah.
if you already have. So you have to live that thing. So you have to
Right.
be it before you can see it, right? You have
Yeah.
to be, and then you have to take the action.
Yes.
So you see, action is the seventh and the final step in the process of manifestation. And what we do is we keep on taking action, action, action. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? And the
Right.
action is what, because we are supposed to take only inspired action, you know.
Yes.
Uh,
So let's go back to the first one, awareness. And the reason I want to go back there is because a lot of times what I've seen, and maybe you've seen this too, is people believe they have this great awareness, and maybe they do, but how do they expand that awareness so that they don't get sucked back into the thought after thought and then move into despair and not be able to be inspired and take that inspired action? So how do they stay in that awareness? How do they use it as a tool?
the so awareness, what is being conscious or being present in the moment. So that's the way to live your life. I mean, ideally the yogi says you have to be present, right? So, but which is very hard to do, because the mind is going to always take you away. You
Right.
can't. I mean, we go through, how many, they say 50,000 thoughts per day, right? So mind is, if mind stops to think, it will cease to exist, right? And mind, brain does not want to give up the power. The ego does not want to give up the power. So as
For
long as you
sure.
think, you want to attach yourself to the mind and body. So that awareness is all about understanding. When we are talking about understanding or awareness, what I mean by that is raising your consciousness.
Hmm.
Now, consciousness, of course, is a very abstract word. It's a big word, But what
Yes.
I like to, the way I like to explain consciousness is three different things. Consciousness is the awareness, which is the education part of it. Like somebody listening to this podcast and trying to figure out what and what, sometimes you get one answer here and the next answer in the next podcast and all, but it will resonate with you. So it's something that resonates with you is your knowledge, is meant for you. So that awareness, so it's a knowledge, education, that's one E. um, Energy, so consciousness is energy as well, the universal cosmic energy, what we call. And uh, the third one is the entity, the consciousness as a soul. So when we are talking about consciousness or awareness, we first need to understand what are we talking about, right? So either we are we talking about raising your consciousness, or uh, getting the education about it, or we are working with the soul directly, or who's listening, who's talking, who's operating. Are you operating from the soul level or a mental level, right? And then energy, how to work with energy. So once you have this clear understanding, basically it breaks down to mind, matter, and consciousness.
Hmm.
These are the three topics that a person needs to be aware about: what is consciousness, how it works, what is matter, how you create matter, and what is mind, what is
Right.
the role of the mind. So once you have the clarity of this whole uh, the picture, I think the whole enchilada, I could say that. So once you have a clear understanding of mind, matter, and consciousness, then you realize that why you are struggling to manifest. Because if you are trying to manifest with your mind, most people will go through struggle one way or another. You might manifest a little bit, but it won't be a long lasting. If you really want to change your life and be in that state of abundance and in a state of flow where everything is coming to you, then you really need to shift, create a shift in the consciousness, not in the mind. So that's why I say mind mastery versus self mastery. Because
Yes.
when you are in self and you are operating from that higher level, everything is related to love. Love is the energy. We are talking about love not as an emotional or romantic love.
Right.
We're talking about love as an energy, using
Right.
that love as an energy. So that's what,
So all of these seven A's, as well as Mindless Yoga, really help you to move into that energy of love.
right,
And
right,
that's where the power is.
right, right. So the
Yes.
process always is, I say, between where you are and where you want to go. The only thing that comes in the way is the mind. What I mean by the mind is the brain. Or what you have and what you want, the only thing that comes in the way is the mind or the brain, right? So when we are talking about the brain, that's something tangible, it's made out of matter. that's
Yeah.
that's the physical stuff, right? If you have a brain tumor, the surgeon can go and take out the tumor, whereas the mind surgery, what we are doing right now, we are doing mind surgery right now. We are
Right.
raising people's consciousness or awareness of where you are, what is mind and what is matter, right? And what is consciousness. So that consciousness is a whole different topic, that how to raise that, and that what we mean by that is the awareness. So that would be the first A, is raising your awareness, talking about this stuff and understanding how to use. Because the process, of course, is, I'd love to talk about yoga as a technology for consciousness. So when we are talking about the conscious net, right, the manas yoga would become a technology of how you do, what kind of the breathing exercises you do, what kind of
Hmm.
poses you do. So by doing that, you get into a certain state of mind. Now
Yeah.
mind you, I'm not talking about, yes, I'm talking about elevated state of consciousness or elevated awareness, but It's not like it's a feeling like when you are doing having a little bit of mota, or what you call the weed, smoking green plant medicine, or having a few glasses of drinks. That is elevated consciousness, but not the same thing, because it's like
For
a
sure.
it's like a drunk driver, right? When you
Yeah.
are drunk, you don't have control over the vehicle. It's like when you are intoxicated or you are using any kind of medicine to go to that higher levels of consciousness. It's like you are driving drunk. You're not
Yeah.
aware. So ideally, what you want to do is you want to use your body and mind, and you want to breathe in certain patterns. You want to do meditation. These are all techniques that we, of course, I mean, you are an expert at it, teaching this stuff. We teach this stuff to elevate your consciousness.
Right.
And what happens is, once you are at that level, you are able to see your worldview changes, your universe changes. You don't have that emotional attachment. I mean, you are thinking from a different level of how do you I serve people, rather than how do I get clients and how do I make money. That's
Right.
that, of course, is there. We want to take care of ourselves. It's just like when you are traveling in a plane, you have to take care of yourself first, right? You have to. So
Yes.
charity begins at home. So when we want to be able to use this stuff, right? I mean, you want to be, do, or have first
Yeah.
before you can learn to get the truth and use the energy of love, right? The
Yeah.
process is the same, but you are going through, you are learning how to do that. You are experimenting.
Yeah.
No, it's working with you. And then now, once it's working for you, you are teaching other people that, okay, this is how you do it. And you create that system, and now it is going out to more people. So the educating more people, serving more people, is at the end of the day, you want to reach out more and more people to share your knowledge, and how we can collectively raise that consciousness.
Yes,
That's
you're
what it's
absolutely right.
about. you know
You're right.
that's
Which
what.
is a beautiful thing, raising
Yeah,
the collective consciousness. In the
yeah,
end, that's what's going on. And in the meantime, while you're moving forward from that place of love, and again, as you said, it's not about romantic love or anything like that. It's that universal, unconditional love.
right.
And with the intention of moving forward from that place, and for the greater good of all, the collective consciousness, all of the things start to just fall into place.
Yeah, that's a whole. Yeah, I what we call the state of flow.
Yeah,
Everything starts to flow once you are in that energy. And
right.
it's too bad that our world, in the world that we live today, that love starts to flow when there is a, like when corona happened, how all the countries came together.
Oh,
like
yeah,
there is a earthquake in Morocco, right? And all
right.
people are sending help, and we all want to help. And you feel like when there is a big human tragedy happens, we all come together. We forget about our own thing, and everybody comes together.
Yeah,
And the world so far has been, so much separation has been created, that we
yeah,
are this, we are that, this, that.
yes.
And that,
Division.
yeah. And that's, I think that we are getting to times when more and more people are starting to recognize that we need to come together, rather than separate ourselves from everything.
Yeah,
And
because we are all one. And if we focus on on the sameness rather than the differences, as in, as you said, disasters around the world, 9/11, tornadoes, and
amazing, yeah.
that forces people to leave the separateness, the division aside, and come together, because you're not looking at how are you like me, you're not like me. You're looking at, we're all the same. And we do come from that place of love.
Yeah,
Yeah. So,
it would be
so we're talking.
one. one more thing I wanted to bring out. This, I mean, I was watching the TV yesterday, and this guy in the that Morocco earthquake, right?
Yeah.
And he was he's his interview. He said he was setting up the time to wake up tomorrow morning on his phone when the
Okay.
house started shaking, and all of a sudden everything fell. His children were buried. His wife was buried. He was there, and so he heard the kids sound calling out for him for a couple of minutes, and then it just went off. His wife ended up in the hospital, so he lost his kids. He lost his wife was in the hospital. His bones were broken. Lost his house. I mean, boom, just like that. Is so when we sit and worry about our this and that and the car, and I don't have this, I don't have that, or I have to create this, I have to create that, and you see the fragility of life,
Mhm.
and that makes you start thinking about, wow, I really need to be aware of this. I mean, what we start talking about the bucket list and all that. I mean, my bucket list came real quickly to me that, oh, I need to start focusing on what I wanted to do, and who I am, who I want to do, that is one of my biggest motivation. Now I'm even more motivated to start talking about this stuff, because really we might think that it's not the message you have might not be important, or you feel like you don't have, but we all have a gift. We all
Absolutely.
have gifts. We all have to share our things with people. And the only way you can do it is coming out and start talking. And that's why I started this podcast just to encourage people, encourage solopreneurs and people, that we can share this knowledge, bring it out, you know, get to the next level, help people get to the next level, because that's the ultimate goal. Thank you for tuning into another enlightening episode of the Conscious Creators Podcast. We hope you found inspiration and insights that will empower your life journey. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this podcast to help spread the wisdom so it can reach more seekers of truth and transformation. Your engagement really fuels us. Stay connected with us on social media: Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, and download our app or join our thriving community. Remember, between where you are and where you want to be, the only thing that comes in the way is your mind. It's all about going from mind mastery to self mastery. Until next time, namaste.